In the heart of New York City lived a man named John Miller. By all outward appearances, John had it all: a successful career, a luxury apartment, and the admiration of his peers. But despite his achievements, there was a void in his heart, a persistent feeling of unfulfillment that followed him no matter how much he accomplished. The question he couldn't shake was, is this all there is to life? What is my true worth beyond this? One day, as he walked through Central Park on his way home from work, he noticed an elderly man sitting alone on a bench, gazing thoughtfully at the trees. John, feeling compelled to slow down from his busy routine, decided to sit beside him. The old man, named Mr. Adams, had an air of calmness that immediately caught John's attention. "Mind if I ask you something?" John said, breaking the silence. "Of course," Mr. Adams replied warmly. "Do you ever wonder what your true worth is? I have everything I could want, but sometimes I feel like none of it matters," John confessed, surprised at his own openness. Mr. Adams smiled gently, sensing the depth of John's struggle. "You know, you're not the first person to ask that question. We live in a world that teaches us to measure our worth by our jobs, our possessions, and the opinions of others. But those are all temporary. They don't reflect your true value." Intrigued, John leaned forward. "Then how do I find my true worth? How do I know if my life matters?" Mr. Adams closed the book he had been reading and said, "Let me tell you a story from a different time and place." He began, "There was a man named David, much like you, successful by the world's standards but deeply troubled inside. He sought wealth, status, and recognition, thinking those things would give him meaning. But the more he achieved, the emptier he felt. One day, feeling completely lost, he visited a wise scholar. The scholar asked him, 'What do you believe defines your worth, David?' David replied, 'My career, my possessions, my achievements. Isn't that what we're taught to value?' The scholar shook his head and said, 'You are looking in the wrong places. Let me ask you, if I gave you a priceless treasure, more valuable than gold or diamonds, but you didn't recognize its worth, how would you treat it?' David, confused, said, 'I might ignore it or even lose it, thinking it's unimportant.' 'Exactly,' the scholar said. 'Most people live their lives that way, unaware that they carry within them a priceless treasure. You too are more valuable than you realize, but you are treating your life as if it's just an ordinary stone.'" Mr. Adams paused, letting the story sink in before continuing. The scholar then shared a truth that changed David's life. Your worth is not in your wealth, your success, or even in how others see you. Your worth comes from your Creator. He fashioned you with purpose, with qualities that make you unique in this world. Your compassion, your integrity, your ability to bring goodness to others, that is where your true value lies. If you spend your life chasing things that will one day disappear, you will never find fulfillment. But if you seek to live in harmony with the purpose for which you were created, you will find a richness that no worldly success can offer. John sat silently for a moment, absorbing the weight of the story. "But how do I know my purpose? How do I discover my true worth?" Mr. Adams looked at him with a knowing smile. "Your purpose is found in how you live each day. It's in realizing that every moment, every breath you take is a gift. When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, how can I use my time today to do something meaningful? How can I bring goodness to others?" In the teachings I follow, we believe that our life is a trust from the one who created us. He has given us time, abilities, and opportunities not to be wasted on distractions, but to be invested in what truly matters: kindness, faith, and serving others. John felt something stir in his heart. The words seemed to speak directly to the void he had felt for so long. So my worth isn't about what I accomplish for myself, but about how I use my life to benefit others? Mr. Adams nodded. Exactly. Your true worth lies in how you live in alignment with your deeper purpose, living with intention, helping others, and recognizing that you are more than just a product of your achievements. You have a soul, and that soul's worth is beyond any worldly measure. And the best part is, when you live with that awareness, the emptiness fades. You'll find a peace that wealth and success alone can't give you. John sat quietly, reflecting on the truth in Mr. Adams's words. For years, he had been measuring his life by fleeting things, money, success, and recognition. But now, for the first time, he realized that his true worth was something far deeper. It wasn't about what he had, but about who he was and how he lived. As John left the park that day, he felt a sense of peace he hadn't known before. He began to see his life differently, not as a race for success, but as an opportunity to live with purpose and meaning. From that moment on, John made a conscious effort to invest his time and energy into things that truly mattered. He spent more time with his family, helped those in need, and sought to live each day with gratitude and intention. And in doing so, John finally discovered his true worth, not in the fleeting things of this world, but in the eternal value of a life lived with purpose.